In Cyberpunk 2077, you have a lot of control over a lot of things, but one of the most important ones is your build, and today we're going to explore this one. Now, this build I used to take on the whole of Arasaka Tower and the Don't Fear the Reaper ending, and it did rather well as far as I'm concerned. And overall, I just find it really fun. It's a build centered around throwing knives and blades in general. Along with that, we have the Sandevistan to make things just extra special easy. And you're just able to zip around and turn enemies into mincemeat. Now, first and foremost, we have the build. Now, when it comes to the stats, there is only one regret that I have currently on screen, and that is intelligence isn't lower than it is now. The reason for that being is when I first created the character, I added some into intelligence because I wasn't really sure what I was going to play at the time. So I would take that back, probably put it into cool and or body, probably body just so I could get some better body mods. But that is what it is. So first, we will explore the reflexes tab. Now, everything that I've got in here is in the blades section, and obviously getting to max level on blades would be ideal, but it isn't exactly relevant to the build itself. Now, I have filled out every slot in here with the exception of this one. Defensive attacks on blades deal 75% more damage. Now, the reason for that being is that I don't tend to defend because I'm using Sandevistan and a combination of stealth. I tend not to defend because I try and kill everybody off the bat. Everything else that is here helps apply bleeding, increases crit chance, makes bleed stack, increases your damage when enemies have lower health, higher health, all that kind of sort of thing. Dodging doesn't reduce your stamina, attack speed, strong attacks doing more damage, reducing stamina cost, moving while the blade increases armor. You know, all of this is basically so that I am maximum offense, and that's the way it should be with this type of build. Then if we go back, we go into body, and the only things I've really got in here is invincible to increase my max health, steel and chrome to increase my melee damage, and pack mule for carrying capacity. I don't think I have anything else in the other tabs. No, I don't. Then we move over to technical ability. Now, everything in technical ability is basically in order to get Edge Runner Artisan, Grease Monkey, and things like 200% efficiency, Field Technician, and everything else is just here because I had spare points to use. But the ones that you want are the ones that increase your crafted weapon damage and your crafted armor things, and then anything that basically allows you to craft better items. Grease Monkey, True Craftsman, and Edge Runner Artisan. In engineering, I do recommend something, but I forget what it was. No, it's not there. Oh, yeah. Insulation. I don't have that currently, but I did have it at one point. That does grant you immunity to shock, so that is something that would be worthwhile to use. Then we move over to cool, and I've got a combination of things in both trees. Now, as I said, I'm running thrower knives, so everything here is involving throwing knives to an extent. You've got this to increase your crit chance while sneaking, movement speed while sneaking, you know, your weapon damage when you're using silence weapons or sneaking, Hidden Dragon, which allows you to take down from jumping on their head, deal more damage to humans. Pretty much everything you see here. Like, literally, there's no point going into it because you can look at it yourselves and kind of make decisions. Now, the reason I've not went for quite a few things here is a lot of them involve, like, quick melee attacks, being able to pick people while you take them down. This is a stealthy, sneaky, run-around build. You're not picking up bodies, you're not doing any of that. Poisoning enemies is great because it kills enemies that don't quite die in that first hit. But them not being able to sprint is irrelevant because, yeah, it just doesn't matter. Immunity to poison, I don't get poisoned, so I don't need that either. Then you've got this one. I try not to enter combat. I try and kill everything before I've entered combat, and then the same kind of goes with this one as well. If I did have the higher level ninjutsu, I would have went for critical antidote, because this will instantly deal poison damage, so it would instantly kill things that I missed the headshots on. I probably wouldn't have bothered with the rest of them, if I'm honest. This one maybe, and this one maybe, but I really don't know. I feel like my main concern was this one, critical antidote, but that is an option for definite. Then we have the cold blood section, and in here we've got all the stacks of cold blood, because there are some situations where you can't avoid going into actual combat, and cold blood will help do that. So all of it was to increase my stacks of cold blood, increase the effectivity of melee weapons, to increase headshot damage, to increase duration, and just again stacks and how quickly the stacks wear off, just to basically make me more powerful when in combat, essentially, and when killing things and all that kind of stuff. Then we have I think that's actually it. I don't have anything in intelligence. There's no point. I can't actually use any net running stuff. So yeah, that's that part of it done. Now we move on to the cyberware. Now, with the obvious limitations of certain of my stats, I can't get the best on the certain scale of things. But what I do have up here is heal on kill, mechatronic core. I think I can get a better one, but I keep looking around, I can't find the blooming thing. But if you can get a better one, go for a better one of them. In the ocular system, we have the Kuroshi optics with 3 slots, and in these slots we have the crit chance weak spot detection, trajectory analysis that increases headshot damage by 25%, and threat detector, because, you know, knowing who's after you is always a good idea. Then we have in here, circulatory system, we have the micro generator, which increases, well, not increases, when my health drops to 15%, it'll do damage to enemies around me. We've got the biomonitor, which instantly restores my health 50% when it drops to 15 and has a 180-second cooldown. My lungs that give me more stamina regen, which is great, because again, we're running around and slicing things. And here we've got the pain editor, which reduces incoming damage by 10%, and if I'm getting attacked, that is definitely vital. We've got the kata resist, which increases my resistance by 35%. In the nervous system, we have the neofiber, which increases mitigation chance by 5% and mitigation strength by 10%, which is basically damage avoidance. The nano relays, which increase my Sandevistan and Kerenzov duration by 2 seconds, but I use Sandevistan, so that's the main function there. Then in here we've got subdermal armor, which increases my armor by 300. The optical camo, which allows me to hide and go stealthy mode. And then the heat converter, so if I'm ever affected by burns, I will deal 10% more damage. Then in our section here, we have the Quint Sandevistan, and we have 3 Sandevistan heat sinks. I have a video on where to get each of these, and I will link them down below in the thing. Well, basically any mods that I've got here that I've got a video on, I will link down below. Then we have the micro vibration generator, which increases the base damage of melee weapons by 10%. And then we have the micro rotors, which increase attack speed by 25%. And the hands, hands don't matter. Like, literally don't matter. They very specific depending on what weapon you use. There's no melee set of hands out there, unfortunately. I don't understand why. But the one I've got here is the tattoo Together Forever with Johnny, because it's funny. Then in my arm bit, I have my mantis blades currently. You could swap that out for monowire if you desired. It just depends on what you prefer. And then in there, I've got the thermal blades, a fast rotor, which increases my mantis blade attack speed by 35%, and the sensory amplifier, which increases crit damage by 20%, which again, I also have a video on where to get and how to find. And then in my legs, I finally have the reinforced tendons, which I firmly believe are the best legs in the game, because obviously they let you double jump, whereas I don't think the other ones are quite as good. I could be wrong, you could disagree with me, but that's what we have in the cyberware department. Now, a point I would make about all my equipment is it is all legendary quality, and that is very important, because the reason it's all legendary quality, it's all max upgraded, it's all maxed out, is because I have Edge Runner Artisan in the crafting tree. So this is why I wanted this, to increase my armor to its maximum level. And then in terms of what mods I've got mods on here that help increase my armor. I don't know why that one is an inferior version, but we'll swap that out. So I have mods on here to increase my armor there. We have movement speed mod. If I could get a better one, I would. Clothing mods are a real pain in the neck to find. I've crafted most of the ones that I have. And here we have some more armor. In the head we have the... I don't know what that mod's called. Let's see. Showtime, which increases my damage from high threat enemies and moderate threat enemies. And then we have in here the Bully mod, which increases my crit damage by 8%. Then in my weapons, again, weapon melee mods are a bit annoying to get a hold of good ones. We have the Weapon Headhunter, which again I have another video on. We have the Weapon Stinger, which I will probably do a video on. And we have the Neurotoxin Knife, because I don't think there's 3 iconic knives. Now this weapon, when you throw it at and land like damage, it actually increases the damage from basically headshots. So if I throw this knife, then throw this knife will then do more damage because of the first knife. And as you can see, the damage on them is fairly they're impressive hits. I can one-shot most enemies with a headshot with these things, so it is absolutely fantastic. In this slot, I usually also have my stealthy mode, but because I was doing Don't Fear the Reaper, I put grenades in because stealth wasn't really an option. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're wearing and what we're using.